Hello everybody, welcome to Paco3D.art, and I'm here to introduce to you what are bevels, what are subdivisions, and how to do insert loop as well. Now the reason why I want to incorporate doing bevels and doing subdivisions is because there is a technique that you can do within making a bevel, which is really good, and that is by selecting the edges and doing a chamfer off effect to make a object that is subdivision friendly. So let's begin. Let's go here. So this is what I'm gonna give you as a demonstration. As you can see with the wireframe, everything already looks subdivided in a way. So let's do a new scene. And so I'm just gonna make a cube very quickly. So what is a bevel? Bevel usually works best with edges. So if I select the next edge like this, and I go, there is a shortcut that you can use if you go edit mesh and then Control B. But usually I just like to use Shift right click and go to the 3 o'clock option. And this is a bevel now. So it's going to give you some angles, so just be careful with that. And now this is at 50%, which means this is now cutting here at 50%, which is 0.5. So if you go here with the fraction to be a little bit lower, that's going to be a little bit less. So this is essentially the percentage of the bevel, right? 1 being a 100%, and then you can have a little bit of a smaller number. Segments is essentially how many subdivisions you're going to have. So at the moment, this is very harsh, very hard. But if I go to, now this is going to make it one in the middle, a few more, and so you can make things a lot sharper or a lot cleaner. I do recommend don't do, like, I think once you go more than 4, it becomes a little bit harder to edit with the topology. You might as well start using the subdivision method with this, right? Depth, however, is how the angle goes. So if I put this to 0, it's going to be perfectly flat. But then if I go to -1, it's going to give it that curvature going backwards, right? So what is a chamfer? So that's the next option here. And this is where now I'm going to give you a bit of that option for that. But let's say now, let's go cube, we go edge, and then we go select all the edges. All right, and then we go bevel. So let's say that we have something like this, and this looks very nice, right? So we go, okay, that's beautiful, right? And we got this cube now, something a lot nice. But we can also do this with doing subdivision. So we go cube again, edge, and we select all the edges. If you go do another bevel with that, with the chamfer off, you'll see how now it is essentially given a fake version of adding an insert loop. So you can just go in here, make it a lot softer, something like that, and maybe just add an additional segment there. Okay, something like that. And now if you press free, what's gonna happen is it's going to essentially give a little bit of the subdivisions. Right, so this is what it's doing in the background. If you display subdivisions just like that. And you can have a very similar result as you can see. Maybe with, can give a bit of a wider fraction, maybe something like that. As you can see how these are the same, right? But maybe this one here has a little bit of less topology and it's a little bit easier to edit or fix, right? What happens if you press free on a cube without having any subdivisions? Essentially, it just turns into a ball. And this is because you don't have enough supporting loops that goes around in a specific area. So say that you add a band around the top face with doing insert loop, just like that. And you give that very tight band around the top. What it's going to do is going to make the top of the face very circular, but then it's going to be very smooth down the bottom down below. So if I press free now, this is what happens, right? But if I add another one here, like so, now it's going to turn into a cylinder, right? So I could just keep on doing this, go here, go there, and then you see how now you're getting some very interesting shapes. Another another one there, and this is essentially the same as adding the chamfers. Now, as an exercise, I do recommend, cool, if we got a cube already, but what if I wanted to do the same with a cylinder, or I want to do the same with a cone, just to practice a little bit what are subdivisions. Let's do now a cylinder. So in order to have quads at the top, I recommend that you do 8 sides. So you press T once, make that into 8 sides, select each secondary, so I'm just using the cardinal directions, each secondary UVs here. I'm going to do the same here. Okay, I'm going to delete those. Alright, and now you can see we got quads. So if I go vertex, select this one, convert that to faces, do an inset like we learned in the previous video. I'm gonna go that like maybe midway. Now we can just double click this edge and this edge here, and then we go shift right click bevel and then do chamfer off. Okay, and now we got our third, I should say second subdivided object. What if we want to do a cone? A cone is a bit more interesting because we, where we got the cone here, because we do have a part where it goes sharp. And so, okay, how do you do this with an angle on here as well? So let's go T, make 8 sides as well. All right. We can do a cap maybe here, so there you go. So then it adds that object there. Now we can just select those, delete them to make it into quads. So this is the thing about subdividing or subdivisions. It's best to make everything in quads if you can. And the last part is I'm going to go here, select that vertex, do another chamfer there. Chamfer is essentially like bevel. Make that a lot smaller, but I'm just gonna make a bit of a cut. Gonna connect this two, and then I'm gonna make a multi-cut from here to that, just like that. I will then, what I'll do is I'll select that vertex there, convert that into faces, screw that a little bit. I might, just to make it a bit more sharper and round at the top there, I'm gonna move that up a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same just to make it more sharper looking. Okay, it's very tiny anyways. And so the last part is I'm gonna do the same here. Select that, convert that into faces, make that a little bit smaller, like midway here. Then I'm gonna select those and I'm gonna make that into a bevel with chamfer off. Okay. And voila, press free, and that's your subdivided third object, right? So I do recommend that, yeah, just practice, make these 3 objects. All right, this is now the 8.5-minute mark, so I do want to make from now on the videos a little bit shorter. I have been looking at the analytics overall, and I don't want to put music, I don't want to put sound effects, I don't want to put a thumbnail that goes, "You hate modeling with Maya, don't you?" And then it's me going, "No, ha, I tricked you, watch my video." So I don't want to do those things. I'm here to educate you, I'm here to teach you to do better, but the retention goes down straight away. So I really need to make videos way snappier and faster, and then maybe that's gonna give you guys some retention with understanding these things to be a lot faster. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for following me. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and remember to like, subscribe, and if you got any comments or if you like for me to make any videos for you, let me know, and yeah, I can do a small tutorial for you. All right, see you all. Bye bye.